So how you doing, Joel?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. So let's just cut right to it. Well, how long have you been part of the EMC community now? Like, when did you first join?
I joined in late June 2015. Um,
Oh
to
yeah, that's
26,
right.
I think.
I've only got you beat by like 2 weeks or something, right? Not because I think I started like June 5th. So I think that's crazy. So let's actually go back a little bit further than that. What actually got you into Minecraft as a whole?
My brother got me into Minecraft. He had been playing it for a while. Actually, it seemed like a while at the time, but it probably was only like a couple weeks. And he wanted me to play with him, and I eventually gave in and got the game, and started playing with him and one of his friends on a server.
So did you just like started straight with multiplayer?
Um, I believe I had one single player world that I played for like a day before I did multiplayer. But yeah, I
Yeah, it's the same with
it
me.
was
Like, even when I first started playing Minecraft, like I played it on the Xbox, and I always played with my friends or everything. So I've never been a really big single player kind of guy. So,
yeah.
so what led you to the Empire then?
Well, I started playing Minecraft in 2011 and I joined EMC in 2015. Um, I was looking for a townie server and I found EMC on the list. And I think why I was looking for townie servers, I had tried pretty much every other category on the server like list sites, and the townie was like the only one I hadn't tried. And so I was like, hey, I'll try this. So I've tried all of them. Um, and EMC was one of the It was either the first or the second one.
So what made you stay then?
Um, that's really a great question, which I am not entirely sure. Um,
That's all right.
I was super confused when I joined, like so confused because it was so different because I was used to playing on factions, mini games, that type of thing. So it was very different. I just right when I joined, the first thing I did, I went into the frontier and I got lost immediately. And I found a blizzard, and I was trying to ask people what's a blizzard, but I was in the frontier in local chat, and this was before town chat at the time, now community chat, was available to everybody in the frontier,
Oh,
so nobody could hear me asking questions.
I
And I
forgot
was
that used to
just
be a thing. Oh man, yeah.
Yeah, so I was just like, what is this blizzard that keeps trying to kill me? And I opened the EMC website to the wiki, and I was looking at the blizzard page, and it was like, this is a holiday seasonal boss. And I was like, it's June. What is this doing here? Um,
Yeah.
and I think that's actually probably one of the things that caught my interest was I was looking at the Blizzard page and it had a link to the Avalauncher page, and I was looking at that, and an infinite snowball sounded really cool.
Yeah, buddy, I love it so much. So you talked about the Avalauncher, and I know you're a huge promo guy. Is that what piqued your interest in promos to begin with then?
Yeah, probably that was one of the things that got me to stay. I was on SMP 9 right after I joined. I moved there like day 2, and I always liked to go look at 18200, FDNY's museum, and all the different items with their stories was really cool. Um,
So, like, how big is your promo collection now?
I think right around 400 different items.
That's crazy. So,
Um, I think I might actually be at 399. I'm
oh,
not
geez.
entirely sure.
I'll send you one just to get it to 400. So, of all those promos, I know it's going to be a hard pick. What would you say your favorite one is?
Um, it changes a lot, but currently it's probably the scuba hat. That one just it was very different than all the other ones I expected, or that I've seen. And I was actually really confused when I first put it on because it gave water breathing because it's a turtle shell, which I thought was something. It was something that iCard added with code because I had never put on a turtle shell before. And I was like, "Oh, this is so cool! iCard added water breathing to this turtle shell." And then somebody told me, but nobody told me for like a week, and just everybody just thought it was. I was like, "Oh, it's so cool that he added water breathing," and everybody's like, "Yeah, that's cool." And nobody told me. And,
that's awesome. It's like an inside joke that you're not inside of.
Exactly.
That's awesome. So, before that one, what would you say like your second favorite one would be then?
Well, I guess probably the one I would be known for is the birthday cookies. I've got quite a few birthday cookies. They were probably the only item that I ever actually decided to buy multiple of. Generally, I just get one of an item and then...
Yeah, call it good. How many cookies do you have?
Currently, I think I have about 112 cookies.
Jesus. So of your 300 promo collection, a third of them are cookies. That's amazing. Call you the cookie monster.
Well, not exactly. The 400 is just different items.
Oh, geez. So you have 400 variations.
Yeah.
So 400 variations, how many total, including duplicates?
I mean, if we're including zombie viruses and shiny flesh and stuff like that.
Yeah, sure, why not?
I guess without those, probably around 1,000. With those, probably 2,500 plus.
That's a lot of chests. Or vault pages. Jesus.
I recently was clearing my storage out because it was completely unorganized, and I just was like, okay, I need a better way of storage because this is just a mess.
Oh, my vaults are a mess. I clean them out, and then like 2 weeks later, they go back to being a mess. My organizational skills are lacking heavily. Okay.
Just have like those vaults that you haven't touched in 3 years, and you're like, oh, where did this come from?
Yeah, especially when you have like so many vaults. Like I don't have nearly as many as a lot of people do, but I have like 20 or 30, and that's still enough to be cluttered and make cleaning up take a little while. How many vault pages do you have?
I have 255, which is the maximum,
Jeez.
but I currently don't use 94 through 255 because I just didn't have enough stuff to fill them. So
well, the fact that you have enough stuff to fill in 93 is baffling to me. I don't even know if I could fill a 93 regular chest. Sheesh. Oh man, let's switch gears here. There's another thing you're really known for, and that's your amazing parkour skills. I've have documentation of this on Early Morning Empire. Not to mention when I'm off air, I've seen you do it before. What piqued your interest in parkour? What taught you, or what led you into that genre?
I'm not entirely sure where I started it. I know a lot of servers that I played before EMC, they'll just have like a parkour in lobbies and stuff, and I would just jump around while waiting. Some would just have a side optional goal of parkour for a bonus prize. The first time I remember doing like a full course was at the 2013 Minecon. They had a whole area set up where you could, they had a special map that they had created just for Minecon, and you could put in your name, and then you'd go through it. It would tell you your time, and then they had a big projector that was telling the best times up on the wall.
That's awesome. So did it just become like an addiction after that?
I remember really enjoying that, and then I was just doing parkours as they came along. I think I really got interested in parkour probably after I joined EMC.
All the various courses and whatnot?
Yeah. One of my first ever screenshots taken on EMC was out of me and a few other people hanging out at the Mob Arena parkour on SMP 5 at the time.
That's awesome. Yeah, my parkour skills are not that great, but moving on from that. So, so yeah, then you got into speed running and doing them backwards and doing them upside down on the wall, and you even beat Daybreaker's angelic parkour. How long did that take? That course is a nightmare.
Me, Daybreaker, and Berkey, we did it over 2 sessions. This was for the approval at the time, so I had checkpoints, and I only had to do a jump once. So if there was multiple the same type of jump, I didn't have to do the same type over and over again.
Yeah, just to prove that it's possible.
Yeah, I think the whole thing from start to finish took a little over 5 hours.
Jeez, man, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, it was quite a session. We took like an hour break in the middle because it was just a lot.
So, 5 hours consistently, that's dedication. Dear
It
Lord.
was quite a bit.
So how long did it take to do the entire course? Because the angelic is just like, I don't know if it's the smallest portion, but it's just a portion of that course.
The rest of it, I don't remember taking that long. Just the memory is probably just overshadowed by the angelic difficulty because in comparison, the rest seemed pretty easy.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah,
So-
maybe an hour.
That's just insane ratio. Just tells you how much he ramps up the difficulty from easy or normal. I don't even know if it's easy. I think it's just normal. Normal, hard, very hard, and angelic. And it's an hour to do the first 4. It's 5 hours to do the last one. That's ridiculous. Okay, so you're also a member of the contribution team, and that's a newer addition, a few months, I believe. So what led you into that? Just the wiki and everything? Like, from the Blizzard
Yeah.
experience?
Well, I guess how I sort of joined was I was noticing if every once in a while, like something that I thought would be a good change, and I just kind of started sending them to Alex and Moople, like just if there was any typos or anything that I noticed, and I guess after that I decided that I wanted to apply, and I got a little carried away on the application and spent a long time on it. Let's just say the wiki section of the application for it was significantly more filled out than the blog section of it.
That's awesome. So, oh man. So speaking of like entries and Wikipedia pages, actually, I can't segue. I'm just gonna come out and ask, like, how'd you come up with your username? That's a very unique username, and it's kind of like iconic in the Empire world. So why don't you tell us about that?
Yeah, my painfully irritating username.
You don't like it? Was it one of those things you like expected to
Yeah.
change later and it just like stuck, and so now you're stuck with it?
It was one of those things that, I mean, I made it 9 years ago now, which I was significantly younger, and it seemed like a good name at the time, and now it's just like, I'm kind of stuck with it.
I understand. This is the only platform where I still use my Deadmon name. Everything else has been changed, and it's just one of those things. It's like, I actually don't particularly like it anymore, but it's just, I don't want to change it and have to explain to everybody why or what my new name is, and then have to get the community used to a new name, so.
Yeah,
It's just
probably
easier.
one of the most interesting things that's happened with my name was when one of the other EMC players got the username Jewel, and he was also collecting promos at the same time as I was. And people were constantly, when he was active, were constantly mailing the wrong things to, so I would get his mail, he would get my mail. People would be like, would start a conversation with one of us and then try and continue with the other person, send rupees to the wrong person. It was very confusing.
Yeah, the days before the autocomplete feature too. That's another nice addition.
Yeah, when anybody tries to do /like tell Jewel, They
It
always
doesn't work.
try and it doesn't work because there is a player named Jewel. They have to add the underscore before it'll let the tap complete finish it.
Yeah, that's amazing, man. That's one of the more unique stories. So was it just like a randomly generated thing? Or you just like one of the first things to come up in your head?
I'm guessing that like Diamond King was taken or something.
Oh, was that long ago?
It was, yeah, I mean, it was 9 years ago.
Oh, fair enough, yeah.
It's just one of those, I'm going to name myself something funny. Yay.
And now you're stuck.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. That's not a bad thing though, and it could be a lot worse. Like I think it's a pretty cool name actually. So it's not one of the more immature names I've seen. Let's just say that.
Yeah, I'm just glad I didn't add a bunch of numbers on it.
Oh yeah. The only reason I added a number to my names because I had to. So I know what you mean. I don't know how people keep track of like those like ridiculously long names and it's just a bunch of numbers. Like I don't even know how you do that, man.
Yeah, one of my friends tried to pick a single word name and it was taken, and he just kept adding numbers on the end at the time until he had like 6 numbers at the end and it wasn't taken, and now he's stuck with that.
Jeez. Let's switch gears a little bit. Let's talk about various events. What's your favorite event to... I don't know if you've hosted many, but what's your favorite event that you've either hosted or partaken in? Let's talk about player events and then staff events. So let's talk about player events first. Have you attended very many player events?
Quite a few. My favorite one, I've only hosted a few because I never had a ton of success with getting people's interest. My favorite one was my easy hard parkour, which I thought was going to be a lot of fun, but then I apparently made it too difficult and not too many people were interested in it. That was probably my favorite one that I tried to host.
That's not really your fault. Parkour is just like, it's a hit or miss thing. People either love it or they hate it. And so the people who hate it refuse to give any like new courses a chance. And I don't blame them. Like, I'm not good at parkour, but I actually do enjoy it. So I always give it a shot. I'll almost never beat it, but I'll always give it a shot. I actually enjoy it. But I don't think that event reflects poorly on you or anything. I think people just don't like parkour. I've done EME for almost a year now. I've done parkour like several episodes, and very few people actually join me for that. They just don't like parkour.
Those are my favorite ones.
I know. I like it. Like I said, I'm not good at it, but I enjoy it. So I was like, I gotta try, and I gotta keep getting better until eventually I can beat a couple courses. I have beaten one of Daybreaker's, but not his Angelic or his Red Room. That Red Room's a whole another thing, but let's not get too far out of balance here. Let's talk about your favorite event that you attended then.
Favorite player event that I've attended? Man, I feel like there's been a lot. Maybe the Impossa Maze by Zion Moyer back in 2016 or 2017. Zion had made this absolutely massive maze. It had like 5 stories, and it was full of teleport signs that when you went around corners, you'd end up in a different section, and then you'd go around another corner, and you end up back where you started. It was just this absolutely massive maze. Jack Biggin was streaming it, and it was a lot of fun. The whole thing took over 3 hours to finish.
Dang.
That's probably my favorite.
So, that's dedication. I love player events. Like I love seeing the creativity. So let's talk about staff events like Fire Floor and Mob Arena, things like that. Which one of those is your favorite? I know you're pretty good at all of them, but which one's your favorite?
Favorite currently, it really depends because there's really a couple different. In my mind, there's like 2 different types. There's the hangout events like Ocean Explorers, which I really enjoy, just hanging out with the other people in voice chat while we just swim around, throw sea pickles at each other, and that's a lot of fun. And Then there's the more competitive ones like Firefloor, Mob Arena. Ocean Explorers is probably my favorite of the more casual hangout ones. Of the more game-y event type ones, it's a hard call between Nether Spleef and TNT Run.
Oh yeah, I forgot they were reviving TNT Run. I love that one, for obvious reasons. Okay, before we wrap things up here, there's something I always like to ask somebody. So, what would be your biggest piece of advice for a new player? If you could tell a new player or a new member to the Empire, what would be like your biggest piece of advice to tell them?
Don't try and compare yourself to the players who have been around for a long time.
That's interesting. I haven't heard that one before. Explain that.
Well, I see a lot of people, for instance, with my view from the promotional items side, they'll be like, oh, these items are really cool. I should start getting into the collecting. And then they'll see people who've been collecting for years, and it's really intimidating to them to compare to that.
I see what you mean. Yep.
Or people with massive shops, or just people who don't need to work really hard to get the materials to build something because they've been around for a while and they can afford it as just have from being around for so long and slowly amassing enough money to build a giant mall or something like that.
Yeah, so pretty much don't get discouraged by other people's accomplishments. That's actually very good. That's just good life advice, really, because don't judge yourself by the success of others. That's a very valid point. I actually love that.
Yeah. Even with it can also be with info too. Just people. I've seen some people who've appeared to be intimidated by not knowing very much about EMC after they joined, because EMC just has so much history and info and stuff to learn.
It's definitely a lot to take in at first.
Yeah, it would be really hard pressed to find a server that had more history. There's just so much going on there.
Definitely don't get overwhelmed too easily, and don't expect to be like you said, don't expect to be amazing straight out of the gate. Take it slow. It's a really nice, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. It's actually not even a race at all, really. It's a go at your pace kind of thing. That's really awesome. Well, I think it's going to wrap it up for us. Thank you so much for coming on, Joel. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.